Hello, I'm Bob the Barber, and this is Vintage Card Minute. Today I'm going to talk about 1969 Topps football. Very much a very forgotten set. Um, I don't know. I've always had an affection for this set. I always thought they were kind of cool. They're just in a they're in an interesting period in NFL football when the merger had already happened. They had agreed to have the merger, but the two leagues were not exactly merged yet. So the merger happened in 1970, and I believe the agreement to merge happened sometime in late 1967. But anyway, I have run across some really cool 1969s in the cards that I'm sorting, and I wanted to show them off to you a little bit and some of the players. First off, we have Merlin Olsen, who was part of the fearsome foursome for the LA Rams, along with Lamar Lundy and Rosie Greer. And who's the other one? Oh, Deacon Jones. So, and he was also on Little House on the Prairie later on after he retired from football. Really cool card. Alex Karras, who was a defensive tackle for the Detroit Lions, but he's also known for being Mongo in Blazing Saddles, and also he was Webster's dad on the show 1980s NBC show Webster. Ron Mix, probably you never heard of Ron Mix, but he is a Hall of Famer. He was a Hall of Fame tackle for the San Diego Chargers back in the AFL days. Lance Allworth, he played for the he was a wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys and the San Diego Chargers. They used to call him Bambi because he just pranced down the field. Don Maynard was one of Joe Namath's favorite targets, especially during the 1969 Super Bowl, where old Joe Namath guaranteed a victory, and it happened to work. Dick LeBeau, defensive back for the Detroit Lions many, many moons ago, and he was also an assistant coach. He was if he's a defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers later on in his life, as I remember correctly. Ben Davidson. Now here is a tough guy. Always had that handlebar mustache, and he was definitely a tough defensive end for the Oakland Raiders back in the AFL and the early NFL days. Thing about Ben Davidson, he also had an acting career. He was in the movie MASH in the football game at the end, and in the movie Necessary Roughness, during the when the dean of the school has the college team go and play the prison team, he's the one guy that says, Sinbad says to him, "What you in for?" And he goes, "Computer fraud." That's Ben Davidson. Bill Nelson, some of you may not know. People ask me who was quarterback for the Steelers before Bradshaw, and I always say it doesn't matter, but if it did, Bill Nelson. That's kind of like who was the coach before Chuck Noll. That one doesn't matter either. So anyway, Sonny Jurgensen, legendary quarterback for the Washington Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles, recently departed from us within the last year. Here's a really cool card of him. Let's see, Daryle Lamonica, a famous University of Notre Dame quarterback. They call him the Mad Bomber because he threw some crazy long passes. Bob Lilly, he was a defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys his whole career. And one thing I remember, growing up in Canton, Ohio, I saw the Hall of Fame parade many times. And I'm sure that I saw dozens of guys drive by in a convertible that were being enshrined. The only one I remember is Bob Lilly. Matt Snell, he was a running back for the 1969 New York Jets, the upset victory over the Baltimore Colts. He was the best running back on the team. Earl Morrall. Now, here's an interesting guy. He was the best backup quarterback in history. He backed up one of Don Shula's Colts teams when Johnny Unitas got hurt, and I believe he won the championship. And then during the 1972 perfect season for the 1972 Miami Dolphins, Bob Griese was gone for like 12 of the 17 games, and Earl Morrall was always there to fill in. This guy does not get the kind of credit he deserved because he was a backup, but if there was a Hall of Fame quarterback for backups, a Hall of Fame category for backups, he'd be in. Dandy Don Meredith, former quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. One thing I remember about him is during his Monday Night Football telecast, he'd see Tom Landry and he'd say, "Smile, Stoneface." Anyway, Fred Biletnikoff, one of the greatest wide receivers ever for the Oakland Raiders. This guy had moves. This guy had crazy moves. He would burn defensive backs like crazy. Ray Nitschke, definitely known for missing his two front teeth. He was this one scary looking character. He was a linebacker, Hall of Fame linebacker for the Green Bay Packers during the Lombardi teams when they were just loaded with so much power. Here's a defensive back, Willie Wood. He's in the Hall of Fame also for the Green Bay Packers on those same Vince Lombardi coach teams. John Hadle, quarterback for the San Diego Chargers. Nothing real notable about John Hadle, other than he was the last quarterback to wear a number higher than 19 in the NFL. He wore 21. I thought that was worth noting. And Bobby Mitchell, he is also a Hall of Famer. He's a lesser-known Hall of Famer. It says flanker for the Washington Redskins. So anyway, I just want to give you a little taste of some of these cool 1969 Topps cards. And here's some of the lesser-known guys, the commons. And of course, it was a duplicate of Ben Davidson. So anyway, how did I forget Len Dawson? Len Dawson, what are you doing in there? The famous quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl winner, host of HBO's Inside the NFL for many years. And there was a famous photo of him on the sidelines of Super Bowl I, smoking a cigarette in between plays. So anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my little presentation on 1969 Topps football and and the little stories behind the players. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching, and make sure you press like, make sure you press subscribe, make sure you leave a comment and tell me how good I did on this video or how bad I did. I don't care which, as long as you watched. So anyway, I will see you next time.